Hey everyone, welcome back to the Baker's Almanac. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is a bit of a fun one and a little bit different. I thought I would share 5 of the realizations that I had after completely switching careers and starting to work as a pastry cook. So before I did this, I was actually working the traditional 9-to-5 job in corporate America. And I was very used to having, those set times and weekends, and so it was a pretty big adjustment moving to a job in the culinary industry. Since I did go to pastry school, I did have a bit of an idea of what the work would be like, but of course there's going to be a lot of surprises thrown in there as well. So in today's video, I'm going to go into some of those surprises in case you're thinking about entering this industry or if you just want to hear a little more. So let's get into it. As of now, I've been working my job as a pastry cook for a couple months, and to this day, I still cannot believe how weak my legs are. My legs are completely not equipped to deal with this job. Because before this, I was working that desk job where I would just be sitting all day long, and the only time I would be out and about would be if I was exercising or just walking around. And so it's a complete reversal to go from that to literally working on your feet all day long. The first day, I remember I was doing my training with one of my coworkers, and just by hour 7 or 8, I think, I felt like I was gonna die. My legs hurt so badly, and I really wasn't sure if I would be able to keep doing this. One night I was taking the subway home, and I got off the train and I was walking up the stairs, and I had this weird spasm in my thigh, like my quad, and I was like, oh my god, I can't even walk the 5 minutes it takes to get home. That's how weak I felt. Luckily, flash forward a month or 2 later, it's gotten a lot better, but I still kind of have this perpetual soreness in my legs, and I do wonder if that's ever going to go away. Despite being around food basically all day long, it's hard to find time to eat. And this was the most surprising one for me out of everything. This is because when you're out working, you're just really kind of thrown into the fast-paced environment, especially if you're working dinner like I am, where it can get really busy. So during the day, we do have a set family meal time, and it's around 4:30 p.m. And so they prepare a bunch of food for everyone, and then everyone, the front of house, back of house, all come together and eat at 4:30. But typically, since I have so much to do, all I'll do is grab a little to-go container, throw some food on there, and then eat it over my station while I continue to work. A couple times I've had my to-go container of food at the back of my station, and I would get distracted working on something else, and I would just keep rewarming it up and up and up until finally I'm like, you know what, I'm over this. I'm just gonna get some food after I get off my shift. Some strategies I have figured out to work around this problem are that I do like to meal prep at home, so I'll make lots of extra food and then I'll bring it in, and then I can have my dinner whenever I want. So whenever I can find a bit of downtime, I'll heat it up and then have that. And then I like to have food prepared at home so that when I get off my shift, I can have a healthy option to grab. This next one might not surprise you, but I'm going to have to get used to having really dry and hurt fingers. The dry part's pretty obvious. I basically spend my whole day doing things, washing my hands, cutting a few more things, washing my hands, so they get really dry. And my skin's pretty dry as is, so of course it's going to just be worse now, but I do have to get used to that. But the other part then is just being perpetually hurt. So day in and out in the kitchen, you're constantly doing something to your hands. Either I slip and then burn a tiny bit of my finger on the oven when pulling out the cookies, or I'm, slicing up an apple and accidentally nick my finger. But I just have countless areas on my fingers where there's just nicks and scrapes and burns, and I think that's just a part of the life. One thing a lot of people don't realize is that by the end of the night working a dinner shift, it can get pretty lonely as a pastry cook. This is because most restaurants have a particular time they close, and so my restaurant closes at 11 p.m. most nights. That means that, let's say the last table sits at 10:50. They put their orders in, all of the savory cooks on the line will fire the orders and then get out of there. But for pastry, you have to wait around until that last table decides if they want to order dessert. If they do, I'll make the dessert for them and then head out, and if not, I just have to wait for that all clear before I can go. Some nights this can happen pretty fast depending on the rhythm of the flow of the restaurant, but other nights that can mean waiting around for an hour, hour and a half as that last table finishes eating. At this point, basically everyone's left. All the other cooks are gone. You know, lots of the different food runners and servers have already clocked out, and there's usually about one food runner left, and then the dishwashers and bussers and whatnot. So I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs some nights just waiting for the all-in report, but that's just the way it is, right? The nice part is that you do get to know the people you're working with that late at night pretty well, and when I wrap up my shift, I basically often have lots of free food, you know, leftover ice cream that we're not gonna keep because it's too little, or, you know, food that just is not gonna look good the next day. So I'll leave it out for my coworkers who are still there, you know, twiddling their thumbs with me at the end of the night. Finally, the last realization that I had is that I have so much to learn. So many people will get their foot into the door in the culinary industry without a culinary degree. You know, they start at a position and work their way up and then just keep getting better and better. I decided to actually go to pastry school and do that route, mostly because I was switching careers and I didn't really have any experience in the area, so I decided to take that route. And I honestly can say now that working a job in the culinary industry, in pastry at least, is so different than pastry school. The flow of paste, the adrenaline, everything is just so much more intense. And all you can really do is learn a little by little more each day. Sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming, but the experience is actually completely amazing because unlike school, you get to learn hands-on from the pastry chef day in and day out, so you're constantly improving your skills, and all you have to do is aim to get a little bit better each day. Honestly, I can't wait to look back at this video in a year, 2 years, and see where I am at that point, you know, because it's a constantly evolving journey and I'm really excited to see where this journey takes me. If you did like today's video, please make sure to give it a like, a thumbs up down below, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. I release new videos every Wednesday here on this channel, all related to baking tips, unique and delicious recipes, and just all kinds of step-by-step tutorials when it comes to baking. Thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure you join this little community that we have on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!